You may not realize it, but there is something operating silently inside you. It is not a lack of effort. It is not a lack of intelligence. It is not bad luck. It is an invisible belief, an internal structure so normalized that you have confused it with reality. Most people believe scarcity means a lack of money, but in the quantum field, scarcity is a state of consciousness. It is a constant sensation that something is missing, that you need to hurry, that if you relax, everything will fall apart. This sensation does not come from the present moment. It comes from old programming. And the quantum field does not respond to what you desire. It responds to what you hold as an internal truth. You may affirm prosperity, visualize abundance, repeat mantras, but if underneath all of that, there is a silent belief saying, it is not safe, it is not enough, this will not last, that belief wins. Because the field responds to internal coherence, not conscious speech. And here is the most important point. You are not consciously choosing scarcity. You are operating from an identity program within it. As long as this identity is not seen, it continues creating the same experiences. Silently, the quantum field is not moral. It does not judge. It does not reward effort. It reflects, like a perfect mirror of your dominant frequency. When scarcity repeats itself in your life, the field is not punishing you. It is simply confirming an active identity. Identity is not what you say you are. It is what you feel you are, even when no one is watching. And identities are formed early, by observing your parents, by hearing repeated phrases, by feeling insecurity long before you understood money. Money is hard. Those who have it lose it. Work means suffering. If there is extra, something bad will happen later. These messages do not stay in the conscious mind. They move into the nervous system. And the quantum field reads the nervous system, not the thought. That is why intelligent, capable, hard-working people remain trapped in the same financial cycles. They change external strategies, but keep the same internal structure. And the field responds accordingly. Same frequency, same result. The field does not ask what you want. It responds to what is stable within you. If instability is stable, instability becomes the outcome. This is not fate. It is coherence. Once you understand this, the problem stops being external, and awareness begins to move inward. Behind almost all persistent scarcity, there is a belief that is rarely spoken. It does not appear as a clear thought. It appears as a sensation, a silent, deep belief, and because of that, extremely powerful. This belief does not say, I do not deserve money. It says something more primitive. It is not safe to have more. This sentence is rarely thought consciously, but it is felt in the body. Whenever expansion becomes possible, when a bigger opportunity appears, something tightens. When money starts to accumulate, restlessness arises. When life becomes lighter, the expectation of loss appears. This belief is not logical. It is emotional. It comes from experiences of loss, instability, or from observing pain associated with money. The unconscious learns quickly. Expansion equals risk. Stability requires vigilance. Abundance leads to loss. From this, a protection rule is created. Do not grow too much. Do not go too far. Do not relax. This rule is not punishment. It is emotional survival. But the quantum field does not distinguish between protection and limitation. It simply responds to the signal it receives. When your internal structure transmits, expansion is a threat, the field responds by restricting flow, not because you are undeserving, but because safety has not been integrated at that level. That is why many people live repeating cycles. They gain and lose. They advance and retreat. They grow and then sabotage themselves, not because of lack of desire, but because of protection. The unconscious always returns to what it considers safe, even if that level is uncomfortable. When this belief becomes conscious, it no longer controls silently. That is the real beginning of quantum reprogramming. Many people try to change their financial reality by repeating positive affirmations. They say phrases like, I am abundant, money flows to me, I attract prosperity. At first, this seems logical. If the mind creates reality, changing the words should change the results. But for most people, nothing changes. And the reason is simple. Affirmations fail when they collide with the nervous system. If you repeat an affirmation while your body feels tense, unsafe, or doubtful, the body rejects the message. The conscious mind may repeat the words, but the unconscious sends a different signal. The quantum field does not respond to repetition. It responds to coherence. If the words say abundance, but the body transmits fear, the dominant signal is fear. This creates internal conflict. The more you repeat the affirmation, the more resistance appears. Not because abundance is wrong, but because the system does not feel safe holding it. Affirmations try to install a new identity without preparing the internal structure to support it. This is why they often feel forced, exhausting, or fake. Real reprogramming does not begin with words. It begins with regulation. Before the mind can accept abundance, the body must experience safety. Neutrality must come before positivity. Stability must come before expansion. Without this foundation, every technique becomes effort. And effort is still a signal of scarcity. The field always listens to the deepest layer, not the loudest one. There is a central belief behind chronic scarcity. A belief so subtle that most people never consciously notice it. Yet it silently shapes every financial result they experience. The belief is this: it is not safe to have more. It rarely appears in this exact sentence. Instead, it disguises itself as responsibility, humility, caution, or realism. But beneath all those masks, the message is the same. If I have more, something will go wrong. If I expand too much, I will lose control. If I relax, I will pay for it later. This belief is not logical. It is emotional. It does not come from adult reasoning, but from stored experiences, moments of loss, periods of instability, scenes observed in childhood where money brought conflict, fear, or collapse. The nervous system learns faster than the mind. And once it learns that expansion equals danger, it builds protection. That protection looks like self-sabotage. You earn more, then something unexpected drains it. You grow, then suddenly lose motivation. You get close to stability, then make a decision that pulls you back. Not because you want to fail, but because your system is trying to keep you safe. From its perspective, scarcity is familiar. Scarcity feels controllable. Scarcity feels survivable. The quantum field reads a signal clearly. Expansion is interpreted as a threat. Contraction is interpreted as safety. So the field adjusts the flow accordingly. Money slows down. Opportunities dissolve. Stability never fully settles. Not as punishment, not as bad luck, but as alignment with the belief you are unconsciously sustaining. Once this belief is seen clearly, something important happens. You stop blaming yourself. You stop forcing change. You stop fighting your own system. And only then does reprogramming truly begin. Money does not respond to logic. It does not respond to planning. It does not respond to discipline alone. Money responds to the state of the nervous system. A nervous system in constant alert vibrates survival. A nervous system that feels regulated vibrates openness. This distinction changes everything. When the body is tense, vigilant, and controlling, the quantum field interprets the signal as threat. And when there is threat, expansion is not allowed. Even if you are working hard, even if you are talented, even if you are doing everything right, the body is still asking one question: is it safe? If the answer is no, the system contracts. And contraction blocks flow. This is why many people can earn money but cannot keep it. Why they grow and then fall back. Why every gain comes with exhaustion. The system is not calibrated for expansion. It is calibrated for protection. True prosperity does not begin with earning more. It begins with feeling safe without controlling everything. Regulation precedes abundance. When the body no longer feels a need to brace itself, the field receives a new instruction. There is space. There is availability. There is permission to receive. This is not about becoming passive. It is about releasing chronic defense. When the nervous system softens, money stops being something you chase. it becomes something that can approach. Quantum reprogramming is not about becoming someone new. It is not about building a stronger personality. It is not about forcing a higher version of yourself. It is about removing what was never you. The invisible belief that sustained scarcity is not your essence. It is a layer placed over it. A layer formed by repetition, fear, adaptation, and survival. Most people try to add abundance on top of tension. They try to affirm prosperity on top of contraction. They try to visualize freedom while their body is still bracing. The field does not respond to addition. It responds to subtraction. When resistance dissolves, flow does not need to be forced. It emerges naturally. Reprogramming happens when you allow awareness to reach what has been avoided, not to fight it, not to fix it, but to see it. The moment of belief is fully seen without judgment. It loses authority. You do not need to destroy the belief. You do not need to replace it. You only need to stop obeying it unconsciously. The quantum field responds immediately to reduce resistance. Less effort, less tension, less internal noise. And suddenly, things begin to move where before they were stuck. Not because you created something new, but because you stopped blocking what was already available. Sufficiency is not having a lot. It is not excess. It is not accumulation. Sufficiency is the absence of lack in the present moment. It is the internal experience of this is enough right now. When you enter this state, something subtle changes in your frequency. The nervous system stops signaling urgency. The body stops preparing for loss. The mind stops scanning for threats. And the quantum field reads as clearly. It does not interpret sufficiency as stagnation. It interprets it as safety. And safety is a condition required for expansion. Most people believe they must have more in order to feel sufficient. But the sequence is the opposite. You feel sufficient first. Then more becomes possible. When the sensation of lack dissolves, the field no longer needs to withhold. There is no tension pulling against the flow. Money, opportunities, and support respond to the state naturally, not as a reward, not as proof, but as coherence. Sufficiency is not a mindset. It is a state of being. And once your system recognizes that it is safe to be here, now, with what is present, the field begins to reorganize around that signal. Expansion follows calm. Always. Money is not a moral measure. It is not a judgment of your worth. It is not a reward or punishment. Money is feedback. It reflects the relationship you have with safety, control, and expansion. When money feels difficult, inconsistent, or blocked, it is not saying something is wrong with you. It is revealing something about your internal state. Every financial pattern is a message. Repeated loss points to fear of stability. Constant struggle points to identification with effort. Sudden gains followed by collapse point to discomfort with expansion. None of these are failures. They are signals. The moment you stop personalizing the problem, clarity appears, shame dissolves, blame loses its grip, and observation becomes possible. The quantum field responds quickly when there is no resistance created by self-judgment. When money is seen as information rather than identity, you regain choice. You can adjust your state instead of forcing outcomes. And as the internal signal changes, the external response follows. Not instantly, not dramatically, but consistently. Money always reflects consciousness in motion. Real reprogramming is quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not seek validation. It does not rush results. The deepest shifts happen without noise. When you stop trying to prove change, your system begins to relax. And relaxation is the doorway to coherence. The quantum field responds more clearly to subtle adjustments than to force intention. A small shift in safety is stronger than 1,000 affirmations. A moment of internal permission changes more than constant effort. This is why silence matters. When you observe without trying to fix, the nervous system recalibrates on its own. Control loosens. Urgency fades. The body exits survival mode. And from this state, expansion becomes natural. Not because you demanded it, but because resistance is no longer present. The field mirrors calm faster than ambition. It aligns with steadiness faster than desire. This is the silent adjustment. No pressure, no performance, just coherence returning to its original state. And when coherence stabilizes, reality reorganizes around it. If this message resonated, do not try to apply everything at once. Reprogramming is not an action, it is a recognition. Begin by observing your relationship with money, safety, and control. Notice where tension appears. Notice where urgency arises. Notice where relaxation feels unfamiliar. These signals reveal the invisible belief. Scarcity loses its power the moment it is seen. Not fought, not rejected. Seen, because what operates unconsciously only sustains itself in the dark. As awareness grows, the old structure can no longer remain intact. The field does not need effort. It needs clarity, and clarity dissolves distortion naturally. This video is not an ending. It is a threshold. Reprogramming continues beyond words, beyond techniques, beyond strategies. It continues in silence, in perception, in coherence. When belief shifts, reality follows. Not slowly, not forcefully, but precisely. This is the work, and it has already begun. One of the most confusing experiences with money is realizing that even when it comes, something pulls you back to the same point. You earn more, you stabilize for a moment, and then slowly, almost quietly, the old pressure returns. It does not feel like a decision. It feels like life happening. But what is actually happening is the activation of a familiar internal cycle. The nervous system is not designed to seek abundance. It is designed to seek familiarity. And if scarcity, tension, or financial pressure has been familiar for a long time, the body interprets it as safe. This is where self-sabotage truly lives, not in conscious choices, but in unconscious correction. When money begins to exceed what your internal identity considers normal, the system reacts, not with panic, with subtle adjustments. You delay decisions, you spend impulsively, you miss opportunities, you feel tired without reason. Nothing dramatic, just enough to return you to what feels emotionally known. This is why people often say, I don't know why, but something always happens. Something does happen. The system restores equilibrium. The quantum field reads this clearly. It does not see sabotage. It sees coherence, an identity that believes, this is my level, will always return there, until the identity itself changes. An identity does not change through force. It changes through awareness. The moment you recognize the pattern, without judging it, without trying to fix it, something begins to loosen. Because what is unconscious controls. What is seen begins to release. This block is not here to blame you. It is here to show you that nothing is wrong with you. You have simply been loyal to a familiar internal state. And loyalty can be updated. A real shift in prosperity does not announce itself. There is no dramatic event, no sudden explosion of confidence, no external sign that says, now it's working. The shift happens quietly. It begins the moment your internal state stops arguing with reality. You are no longer fighting where you are, no longer demanding proof, no longer negotiating with fear. This is when frequency changes. Frequency is not emotion. It is stability. It is the difference between wanting money to escape discomfort and allowing money to circulate without emotional charge. At first, nothing seems different. Your income may look the same. Your environment may not change. The numbers may not move. But internally, something is no longer tight. And the quantum field responds to that before anything else. Opportunities begin to feel lighter. Decisions require less effort. You stop chasing and start noticing. Not because you became passive, but because urgency dissolved. Urgency is loud. Alignment is quiet. Most people miss this moment because they are waiting for excitement. But prosperity does not arrive with excitement. It arrives with neutrality. When you no longer need money to prove safety, the system allows expansion. This is not about positive thinking. It is about reduced resistance. The field does not open when you want more. It opens when you stop collapsing around less. This moment may feel uneventful, almost boring. That is how you know it is real, because the nervous system is no longer bracing for impact. It is available, and availability is the gateway to flow.